Hey everybody, welcome. So today I want to talk about how to manifest a partner. I want to start this video out with the idea of, with the prayer of, may all of our work be in service of the highest good. I like to say that to myself, and it makes me feel good when I say it, so I'd recommend giving that a try, because it's just a nice feeling saying those words. I believe that words have great power, and so the words that we're persistently saying, the thoughts in our heads, the words coming out of our mouths, and also the actions that we're taking are having this ripple effect in terms of the quality of our own life and also the quality of the lives of the people around us. So being able to start off with that type of intention, that type of thought in your mind is really a helpful way for you to start. So why am I doing this? Some of you know that my wife Emily and I have been doing this for a while in terms of creating an idea, creating a program that we can use to help people to actually do this in their lives. And my purpose with doing this video, though, has nothing to do with that. More so to explain what it is that I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So this is something that I did to find my wife Emily. I decided after a long period of being single that I was studying all this law of attraction stuff, and eventually I was like, wait a minute, why don't I just manifest a partner? Why don't I just manifest a life partner? That seems like it would be a fun and worthwhile thing to be doing. So I did. And what I want to share with you guys is basically like the simple steps that you can use to do this in your life. And it works with manifestation of just about anything. Sort of the more of a stretch it is for you to believe that you can have this relationship or experience or whatever it is in your life, the more resistance there will be in you to manifest that thing. So it's important to keep that in mind when you're looking at doing this type of work, and subsequently think about stepping your way up in terms of believability. Because if you start off with something way out there and way too crazy and think just like, oh, I'm going to manifest, a castle or whatever, something like that, then you're going to have a lot of programs in your subconscious mind that will be basically telling you that's not going to happen. So there's a lot of information out there about manifestation, and I think that has had a way of kind of like almost like devaluing it or cheapening it, when in fact like it's a really amazing and beautiful thing that we get to do as human beings. We're creator beings. We get to, with our thoughts and our words and our actions, create in our environment. And the level of sophistication that we can do this at is really magnificent. And so the idea of manifestation, like I said, has kind of gotten conflated with all these things that are a little almost like deceptive or not useful to use when you're thinking about it. So what I want to first say is that when I'm talking about this, really all I'm talking about is intentional creation. It's we're envisioning first with our minds what it is, the circumstances that we would like to create in our lives, and then through the focus of our minds and the words that we're speaking and the actions that we're taking, we're bringing about those circumstances that we are seeking. So we can do this with lots of different things in our life, and one of them is a relationship. All of our relationships, whether they be friendships or business relationships or a life partner, love partner. So we have that power, we have that innate creativity, that innate creative ability that is, it basically does seem like magic because it's that amazing. But the idea that manifesting is just about thinking about something and then it popping into existence it's kind of like an oversimplification of it. So anyways, now that I talked about that, I want to get to the actual steps that you can use to do this in your life with whatever it is that you'd like to manifest. So first of all, it's really fun. It's really you want to think about this as creative play, not get too serious and too caught up in effort, I'm gonna manifest this thing, because that type of energy is basically going to stop the creative flow for you. So we're thinking about joyous creative play here. Alright, so first of all, we want to get clear about what type of relationship we want to manifest. Because I think a lot of people get caught in the idea that, if I find love, if I find a partner, all my problems are going to be solved, and everything is going to be great and perfect in my life if I can only find love. And that's a dangerous idea to go down, because you're at that point putting basically an extremely unrealistic expectation on that partner, if that's the attitude that you're coming into the relationship with. So you're setting yourself up for disappointment if you start that way, right? So instead of thinking about it like that, what we want to think about is the type of relationship that we would like to have. So think about getting clear. You're going to get crystal clear about your manifestation, what it is that you are creating. So in terms of relationships, thinking about not just, what is this person going to look like, or, such and such surface level ideas, but actually thinking about what is your life together going to look like, and envisioning yourself down the road. Does this person want to have a family together? Do you want to have a business together? What is it that you are coming together to do with this person? And so actually, what I'd recommend first is step one is getting clear. Get as clear as possible about what it is that you are manifesting. Okay, so this is a fun time to start writing in your journal and basically put together your future vision of what this relationship is going to look like. So once you've gotten clear, it's really helpful to identify any resistance or repeating patterns. So oftentimes if we look into our relationship history, we're going to see repeating patterns of things that basically are stopping us. And that's energy. That's energy that's within us, within our subconscious. And until we look at and deal with that resistance, it's basically going to keep coming up again and again and again and again. So it's really helpful to, instead of trying to push it away, actually look at it and see what it is. See what's happening in yourself, in your spirit, that's being shown to you in this repeating pattern. So when you can identify those patterns and identify that resistance, it's going to help you to basically manifest with more clarity, to put out a clearer signal, a clearer vibration for you to attract the relationship that you want. So in terms of actually like letting go of that resistance and figuring out where it is and what it looks like, that's a whole another topic. There's a lot of different modalities for doing that. And if you're interested in that, you can reach out to me and I can recommend some resources about how to identify that type of resistance. Because it's really, that's a really important step. For me, part of my resistance was I basically had this impression that I was not going to, what I was looking for was very, very specific but difficult to find in the place where I was. And I had this idea that probably I wasn't going to want to stay where I was living and that I wouldn't meet the love of my life in that place. So that was a pretty serious resistance that I had. And in fact, I was right about that. That ended up being the case, and I had to travel far away from where I lived in order to actually find this person. So this part is a cliche, and it's a cliche for a reason, but it's very important, is that actually, truly, deeply knowing that you are enough. As you are on your own, you are enough. So that having that level of love for yourself before you try to get into a relationship is going to allow you to come from a place of wholeness when you start this new relationship with the other person. So this is incredibly important, and it's true, it is a cliche because we hear it all the time, but the one and only person who you can rely on for love for your entire life is you. So if you can actually start with that, like in every day and every moment as much as possible, being able to create that love for yourself, knowing that you are enough, that you are a piece of the divine, experiencing the divine with your consciousness. So that's a beautiful thing. It's an amazing thing to be in that place. So once you've done that, the next important part is to start manifesting in present time. And this step is one of the magical steps that I use to actually do this in my life. And the step is called stop manifesting out in the future. Because what a lot of people are doing is kind of having this attitude like one day one day I'll fall in love, one day it's going to work out, one day. And the thing about that is you're continuing to push it back and push it back and push it back, and that day may never come if that's the way that you're doing it. So what you're going to do here is basically trick your subconscious mind into believing that you already have it. You already have this partnership. And the way that you trick your subconscious mind is by giving yourself these I am affirmations. So you're bringing it into present time instead of pushing it off into the future. So the words that I used is, I said, I am so happy and grateful that I am living in harmony with my divine partner. I am so happy and grateful that I'm living in harmony with my divine partner. And I wasn't like saying that to myself all the time. You could put it in like put it in a meditation tape or something like that. All I did was I wrote it down in a couple different places, and I had it in my room in a place where I would see it every day. So I was reprogramming my subconscious mind to accept that new reality. The subconscious is incredibly powerful for creating results and creating experiences in our lives. But unfortunately, part of the challenge is that it's very often holding energy and experiences, perspectives from our very earliest years of life. So the ages from 0 to 7 is when most of our subconscious programming gets programmed. And oftentimes, if we don't take any proactive steps to change that, we're going to keep running those programs over and over and over and over again. So what this means is that this is why your parents and their relationship and the way that they loved each other and the way that they loved you have such a powerful effect on the way that your relationships go, unless you are proactive about changing that programming. So things that are really helpful for this are, the various spiritual practices and meditation, but specifically programming your subconscious mind with those I am affirmations. I'd recommend writing that. I'm so happy and grateful that I'm living in harmony with my divine partner. If that's what you want, of course. You might just want to date somebody or, have a romantic getaway or whatever it is. So once you get clear about that, write it in the present tense on that card. Put it in your ears. Put it in a meditation tape, and just start programming it. The best time to program yourself with this information also is when your brain is in a theta state. So it's like the kind of quiet time right before you go to bed or right after you wake up. So these are the times when you can best program your subconscious mind with that type of information. Even if you take like a little nap or a meditation time, that's a really good time to put in new subconscious programming into your mind. Because you don't want to be living with that programming that you got from your parents or your primary caregivers when you were, 7 years old and under. It's just, it's old programming, and you can choose what you want to be in there. And this is an incredibly powerful tool, and it's a tool that we can use in many different fields in our lives to basically create the type of life that we want. It's really incredible what you can do with this. I'm gonna just give you a quick story of how I did this for so here's what I was looking for. When I decided to manifest Emily, I had that one affirmation that was, I'm so happy and grateful that I'm living in harmony with my divine partner. That was one thing. And then on the other hand, the other thing I was manifesting was I am living in a city which is an international art hub that's on the west coast of the United States, that's next to the ocean and close to the mountains, and it's not too cold, it has nice warm weather, and I don't want to pay rent. So that was another thing that I was manifesting for. And basically, if you think about those requirements, basically what you would think, that's ridiculous. How are you gonna live in the ocean in Los Angeles without paying rent when you don't know anybody there? It's a crazy idea. But one of the magical things about this manifestation, and it really does feel magical, and it's again about the powers of our subconscious mind being so much more incredibly powerful than we can imagine, is that you don't want to get stuck trying to figure out every single step of how you're going to get to this place, right? You want to instead imagine the result, the picture, the vision that you have of the future. Because if I had tried to like plan all that stuff out and think about how it was going to connect and what every single little one of the steps was going to be, it would have never happened. But instead what I did is I put it out there and I had faith that it was going to come back to me. And the magical set of circumstances that came together to allow those conditions to come into my reality were truly amazing. Truly amazing. And so right now I'm living inside of that, and once you start doing something like this, you start to wonder, like, well, are there any limits to this? Like, where do I go from here with this knowledge? So that's the big question. It's like, where do you want to go from here with this knowledge? And this has been studied in a lot of different scientific papers, and it's been more studied in the context of visualization and affirmations. And they wouldn't use the word manifestation because it sounds a little too magical for any type of science paper. But in terms of but we see a lot of this stuff with Olympic athletes, for instance, or really high performers, is they're reprogramming their subconscious mind to believe in the reality that they are seeking to create. And so think about the power of doing that, and think about if these people at the highest levels of their sports or their chosen professions are using this technology, the technology of your subconscious mind, to create and to achieve these amazing things. Olympic gold medals are won with this type of technology of reprogramming our subconscious minds to create the circumstances that we are seeking to create. So that's the power that you hold within your hands right now and in every moment of every day. And what's really important is for us not to get caught up in a state of being reactive, of constantly being reactive to all of the negative stuff that we're hearing from the news and from social media or from wherever it's coming from. Because if we're reacting to a fear vibration, a vibration of terror and fear overtaking our mind all the time, then what you're going to do is you're going to be vibrating at that level, and you're going to be creating circumstances that match up with that subconscious programming, with that vibration that you're putting out there. And that's happening from reacting to that vibration that is external, as opposed to creating your internal vibration of love, harmony, peace, however it is that you want to feel. Joy, play. Play is great. I just love play. That's the best. And what it does is it puts us in that childlike state of joy and learning that is really incredibly creative and uplifting for us when we go there. And we can go there basically, whenever we want. Especially when we learn how to play with these triggers and actually intentionally create that feeling, intentionally create that vibration. So my point of this video is to help you to remember, if you have forgotten, that you do have this creative power. You are a creative being, an infinitely creative being, and you can essentially create whatever it is that you desire on this earth. So that's awesome. It's truly amazing. And it comes from actually believing. That's wild. That's amazing. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for staying for the whole thing if you did. Or for tuning in and saying hi. I appreciate it. Everybody have a lovely evening. And I'll see you next time.